Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Sumat Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy, and I'm a flow state coach, which means that I help you feel your best and perform your best. Recently, I was listening to what Andrew Huberman said on a podcast around flow state, and he said that there is this thing of this agitation right before you actually become a master in a specific task. What he's referring to there is the struggle phase, okay? So the struggle phase is this phase where you go throughout life, right? And you start something new. You're gonna have to feel that stress, that adrenaline, that norepinephrine in the beginning of that task. But if your fear-based limbic response in your brain, if your amygdala steps in and sees that you can do this task for 5 minutes or so, and eventually letting go along that process or surrendering to the present moment, that's when the flow state kicks in. So with this in mind, we want to also understand karma, because a lot of us understand that our perspective of life determines our life. So if we live as if we have bad karma, when we can't really know for sure, we're going to produce bad karma. So it is the belief in that is the negative seed that has been planted, that is the poison. Now, you might have karma from endless past lives ago, okay? So if you do infinity number of penance and prayer and puja, you can go ahead and try that. But that's going to take you lifetimes or infinity times to get to clearing all your karma. You've got to understand what is the bigger picture. Just like your thumb can block out the sun, a lot of us can overlook the grandest picture with the smallest object. And our own ignorance makes this karma feel worse. The taste of it, at least. You get what I mean? The awareness, is it from a lower awareness or a higher awareness or higher consciousness? If it's higher consciousness, it's higher in its level of awareness. It's lower consciousness, lower in its level of awareness. So just like the ancient Egyptians measure the heart, and they understand which heart is heavier. The heart that is heavier is the one that stores and holds on to all of this karma. It hoards it. It's a hoarder. Whereas you can actually forgive, you can have some level of reconciliation, and understand. I'm hearing plane noises, but I'm thinking of a train right now. Like a train comes past, right? You have a choice to board that train. And how do you know which train to get on? The train that goes to your destination. But a lot of your thoughts have a really bad destination, right? You have negative thinking, which has a negative destination, but you choose to board that train and go on that rabbit hole journey. Whereas if you just perceive the negative thought and you remind yourself, I'm not going to do that now. I did that in my past life. I did that in my past life, okay? What are ways to know your past life? There's past life regression. There's many ways to do this, okay? We work with specific deities who help us realize that we have certain past lives and so forth. This is an accurate tech, but this is the closest that we're getting right now in humanity, okay? Understand that if you're looking at the Hindu perspective, dhanya, or some people would say to be in meditation, is actually the idea of picking the thoughts that will take your train to the destination that you truly prefer. So you've got to create a mind that is comfortable and susceptible to changes. Because what you believe is what you will achieve and receive. So just like that, you've got to find positives of your past actions and let those seeds cherish. Doing positive, good karma actions. Going through a karma path, karma yoga, okay? Doing actions in the place of society, doing good for society, contributing in some way, giving back, okay? You can make your work into your vision and mission in order to pay your karma off, okay? The karmic debt. The strongest and easiest and fastest and most simplest way is to be devoted towards something, or bhakti. Bhakti is singing the songs of the Lord, the prayers of of the Lord, whatever Lord you believe in, right? Whether it's Buddhist prayer or Christian prayer or Hindu prayer, you are stepping into the power of actually understanding that you are the walking example of letting go, of release, of non-attachment, of non-dualism, of timelessness, because you're now in 4D. If you change your relationship to time and you live more in a timelessness and you understand how to get into that 4D state, you're going to find it a lot easier to start to communicate with certain beings who are then going to guide you further on cleaning and clearing up your karma. Personally, this is what I recommend, and it's very, very simple. You pull up some alpha waves, okay, on YouTube. Pull up alpha waves on a separate tab. And I want you to visualize yourself tapping into a guided visualization from your higher self. So I want you to actually get into a meditative trance and state and consciously guide yourself to envision yourself cleaning and cutting any karmic ties. Now, this has got to be with your own creativity, okay? Because your subconscious mind knows how the karma is being depicted, demonstrated, or represented. Is it being represented through ropes? Is it being represented through maybe a trampoline? Is it being represented through, a tree that you have to climb? Usually we imagine something which is quite challenging to us because we understand the inconceivable power of the karmic threads that make us who we are, right? And engage our past, present, and future all through this Akashic timeline. So wherever you place us, that is where we will stand. You might go to lots of astrologers and tarot people and, go to lots of spiritual gurus and guides and coaches all across the world to get to this one answer, that how can I clean my karma? Everybody's going to give you a different answer. You get that? Because there are different walks of the spiritual life also, but start to understand that they are also coming with their own karma, and that karma filtrates the experience of karma being communicated through that particular being too. If you're sowing the seeds of judgment and pain and hate, they're going to bear fruits, rotten fruits that you're going to have to eat later. So understand that your negative actions have a consequence. And just like a person in jail, they go through jail time, they come back, but then again, even in jail, they could be plotting to get out of jail and, go back in jail. So it's important to understand that just because you cleaned your karma doesn't mean the karma doesn't stay back or the roots of the karma are still gone. Something like Gyan Yoga or knowledge, yes, you can burn the karma, but the roots of the karma will still remain. And if the roots remain, then more negative karma can grow still. At least you're cleansed for that time. So I'm not saying there's no benefits to this work, okay? Your karma is your unfulfilled desires, right? Leading you towards your destiny. Your destiny is kind of prescribed in a sense, but you can also use your actual, called a purusharth. The purusharth is the effort of your free will. So you do have some say here. You're not just a puppet in the hands of God, right? You have your own way of seeing things, doing things, having things, experiencing things. So if you have unfulfilled desires and needs and different things, you understand that that might be karmically related, okay? So if you fulfill yourself, if you find a way towards fulfillment, you'll find a way towards cleansing that negative karma. Okay, and repeating negative, toxic past cycles. So when you break a generational curse, you step up and you say that, actually, you know what? I'm going to be the first out of my family to go to college. You know what? I'm going to be the first one who's going to heal this massive, a mother wound that's been happening in our family for ages and ages, right? Actually break the patterns of addiction that my family has. And I'm going to move forward with a fresh pair of eyes so that I can perceive the world in a very, very new way. So it's not as simple as, you become bitter or you become better, because the sanchita karma that you've accumulated, like an endless stockpile of karma, right? It's just like generations and generations of documentation of all the bad stuff that you've gone through, right? The thing is, the fact that you can actually come into this world with almost like a chunk of karma that you can deal with in this physical world and actually overcome it and use your own free will or purusharth to move the needle or move the wheel of the flow state, right? The invisible force. What is God? It is not known, right? In this Sikh people, what do they refer to that Holy Spirit or that beingness through as Wahakuru? And if you realize that, there's these awe-inspiring moments in life, or euphoric moments, or peak experience moments in life, and again, I'm speaking from all different calibers, right? I'm an omnist myself, so I like to look at all different types and schools of thought. So this is very, very interesting to me. That feeling of, wow, right? Whoa, wow, whoa. That waha, guru, okay? Or that fire and water together, right? This is what we're really getting towards in Primal Sutra, okay? The power of both of the energies of Stoicism and Taoism, okay, coming together to intermix into such a solid philosophy and flow state lifestyle. So this is the mindset of handling your karma. I will handle whatever karma and bear all the consequences and responsibilities that comes with that karma. Let's go. Bring it on, okay? What will be, will be. Que sera, sera, right? Like that mentality of amor fati. I love my fate because it is mine, okay? Whatever my fate is, whatever happened, why did I choose for this to happen? Because clearly you chose it at some level, because then you take away your responsibility, then it becomes this complete, you've let go of the wheel, you've let go of the handle, now the car can crash, okay? So gently keep your hands over the wheel. You don't have to squeeze it and hold it tight, because then you can crash too, right? You got to be a little bit on cruise control, but also guide it accordingly, having that soft control, that gentle nudge where the universe can get it. Okay, I'll give you a little bit of support. I see you're really dedicated to this mission. And that's awesome, right? And you will notice that when you are being of bhakti, being of service or devotion through your work is a devotion to God. You being in the gym is a devotion to God, right? As you do every single action and you dedicate it towards that source energy, and you intentionally send your karmic realizations to create this almost this communication with the higher self, the Wahaguru, the guru within, to awaken that guru within that needs to find some kind of expression for itself. You see, your karma is going to express itself whether you like it or not. So you can suppress it. Maybe your karma has been suppressed over generations, and you need to do this unlayering or unlocking process. And then now when your kundalini is finally, activated, you finally have all of these karmic threads and different loose, things that you got to handle. But that's actually very responsible if you can handle that. You see what I'm saying? So it takes a certain kind of personality to surrender control to the universe, okay? It takes a certain level of playfulness and an internal authority that I can handle whatever the world or the universe gives me. That kind of fearlessness and dedication is what the universe is actually looking for in order to help you and co-create with you to cleanse your karma, or at least, transcend your karma in a sense, where it just becomes something in the background, like it's not even noticeable anymore. It's like, yeah, it's there, but it's smaller in its intensity. You get what I mean? Maybe it's just like a tiny little karmic glitch, whereas earlier it was a fully rendered GIF file that was like a giant one, right? And it was like terabytes of information. Now it's just like the small, USB compact size, right? This portable thing that you carry around with you. But it's not that important, right? Because once you're in the present moment, bro, your karma is not going to be important. Once you're in the flow and you're loving life and you're enjoying your life, this question of karma doesn't come along. You're only worried about karma when you're feeling bad, or you're questioning your life, or you're feeling doubtful. It's going to magnify the ignorance that you have. So once it magnifies the ignorance, now you need to gain that wisdom in order to understand what this karmic thing is doing. Because karma really just means action, okay? There's negative past action, and then there's positive past action. Positive future action, negative future action. There's positive present action and negative present action. All of these are threads, right? Just going towards infinity. If you can pick the thoughts and you can actually be like, you know, I did that in my past life. I'm not going to go with this anymore. This is the timeline where I choose to actually break free from samsara. This is the timeline where I choose to actually take care of this karma, right? So this is my understanding of it. If you have a heavy heart, you need to, first of all, get into such a devotion where that higher consciousness, God frequency, or energy cleanses and purifies. You can choose a particular deity to help you with this. A lot of the ascended masters are great at neutralizing karma. Honestly, it comes from your associations, right? So getting into that alpha wave, doing that visualization where maybe you're imagining it a rope, then you're cutting the rope or you're climbing the rope, and you're realizing whatever is happening through that release process, and then reassociating any past karma negative imprints and then going through it. I'm not explaining the whole process right here. If you want to know the entire process of cleaning that, you got to join our Pathworking Primal Sutra, okay? I can only share so much on YouTube, but you know, this kind of stuff is very esoteric stuff and occult stuff, and I can't be freely giving that, unfortunately, okay? Unfortunately or fortunately, okay? I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any other questions, let's get to it. Have an incredible day. May the flow be with you. And stay legendary. Let's go. Upward spiral.